I just want to say thank you, just so everybody, I don't know if, I think probably the group's been on the last couple of days. Hopefully, if you haven't, it's great that you're here today. We
Yeah.
do have Melissa McKenzie with We Go International, and if you haven't been able to watch what's been going on, she has given us permission to share with our students. So if you missed any of it, or if you want to go back and check out some of the stuff in Colombia and just revisit sometime, Jennifer's got those recorded, and we'll share those at some point with you. Your academic advisor can share those. But today we want to complete the international travel theme that we've done this week, which I think's been great, because we want you to think, Oklahoma, our region, it's great. We have a lot of opportunities. It's also great to see what else is out there in the world so you can explore. So she's given us some things to think about. And today she wants to, hopefully you're still working on your personality quiz, or you already have it done, but you can be working on it while we're talking. But I think that's going to be part of the team building process. Each of us are different, and she'll talk about that and how it applies to how you might be able to do teamwork in another country, or even in life in general. So Melissa, I'll turn it over to you, and thanks for being here today.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Today, hopefully you guys will walk away feeling really kind of empowered. So I don't know if you ever, well, wait, let me introduce myself for anybody who may be new today. So I'm Melissa McKenzie from We Go International. We focus on educating individuals about global awareness and global connectivity, because we're all a part of this big world. And often we get kind of stuck in our own little circle, in our own city, in our own state, in our own country, and don't realize that there's so much out here to see. But today is all about, once you do kind of connect outside, realizing that there are ways in which you use your gifts, your skills, your talents to make things happen. And so I don't know if you've ever felt like you're in the midst of a group and you're either being challenged to do things that kind of feel like, this doesn't really feel like me. This doesn't feel like something I'm good at. So for me, like, I have to really, really focus when it comes to like organizing a lot of details, because it's just really not my specialty. But you get me to having to talk to people or understand what people need. That's where I start to shine. And that's where I can be most helpful. So today is going to be all about us learning, where do we fit in? How do we play a good part in this role? I.e., I wore my Unity shirt at Target in the men's section. I thought it was cool. So anyway, but now that I've done my commercial for Target, moving on. So yeah, everybody, let's jump right in. So today you're going to need this personality quiz if you have it. If not, we're going to be showing a lot of stuff on screen, so that will help guide you through. So no problem for those who don't have it handy. And then you're also going to need this other page. The biggest words on here are free to be me, but it looks a lot like this before. Well, this is after you fill it out. I filled mine out. So hopefully you can grab those two things and have those handy. I'm going to try to be quiet with my papers over here. And then I think.
No.
So I'm going to mute everybody. And if any of the administrators need to unmute yourselves, feel free. I just muted everybody just because we had a little background noise going. Okay, so jumping in, personalities. So one thing to know here is that there's no like right or wrong personality. And then we also all kind of ebb and flow depending on what kind of situation we're in. So there may be times when you are in a team meeting or a team group and nobody's really taking lead. Now, where that may not be your specialty, you still have the skills and you can still pull it forward, right? So today, again, it's not about one personality being better than another. It's actually just about understanding your preferences. And when I say preferences, it means where you naturally flow, where you have a natural ability to be. And it also means that we have strengths and are able to step out and do other things as well. So like I said, you're going to need this. And let me just go through it really quick, just so that you can kind of be thinking ahead. So we're going to find out what personality style we all are. And then that's going to lead you to say, call me if you need blank. So if I need, somebody who's going to help me organize my closet, I know who to call based on what the personality types are. If I need somebody who's going to help me organize or throw a party of some sort, whether it's a fundraiser or something like that, somebody's in this group is going to have the skills to do that. Then over here, it says draw or color symbols or words that represent you. So based on your personality style, you can put things in this box, whether it's words or other symbols that represent you. And then this last one is, in my community or on my team, I could be the person who. And so that would just be a couple of the tasks that you could do based on your skills, your personality. So that's that. It's just more fun. It's just a way of capturing what we do today. So just keep it handy off to the side and we'll be working on it. So with that said, you're going to also, so for folks who don't have your pages anymore, what you're going to want to do is maybe take the back side of this or a blank piece of paper, and you're going to want to draw yourself a little answer key, because I'm going to go through the questions on screen, but you're going to need a place to mark them down. So ultimately, if you had the packet, you would have had 4 answer keys. So at least draw yourself 4 of these basic ones where it's 1 through 5, A's and B's. And you're going to need to total those up. So does that make sense? So in this one over here, you're going to circle A, you might circle 2 or 3 B's and another A, and then you're going to end up adding those up and determining whether or not you are extrovert or an introvert. So we're going to go through 4 sets of questions. That's why you're going to need 4 different answer keys. Hopefully this is making sense. And I don't want to go, let me actually see how many people don't have the document anymore. And this is no shame, nothing wrong. I just want to know how fast or slow to move. Just put up your hand or we'll do a hand raise if you're going to be working off the screen. Not a problem. Okay, Garrett, gotcha. Okay, cool. All right. So for the most part, it's just a couple of us who are going to be working off the screen. So let me show that answer key again, so you guys are comfortable with, marking down your answer, how you're going to mark down your answers. And let's
Melissa,
jump. Yeah.
I just had a question too. I just thought of this. This is being recorded, so like Catherine's not at home right now. She could go back and answer it later. Is that possible?
Oh, for sure.
Like so when you get the recording, Catherine, since if I understand maybe if you're not at home or you can't really write things down, but that could be an option. That's the nice thing about her being gracious enough to let us record. So
no
that
problem.
Could be an option. But if you can do it now, that probably would be beneficial for those of you that have your form.
Yeah, definitely. Catherine, check this out later. It's actually really revealing, which is great, but you're going to learn a lot just even from listening, and actually probably pick up on which categories you fit in, even just by listening. So, all right, so we're going to jump into it. So for the first category in your packet, it's called My Environment. So you should be on you should have just turned to the very first page. And we're going to go through these questions. Each one has 5 questions. The intent is for you to answer pretty quickly. So like whichever one, A or B, that really fits you right without thinking too hard about it is the one you want. So study environment. I prefer to study in a group. I prefer to study alone. Which one is it? How thoughts form. So my thoughts form, I process things out loud on A. B, I process my thoughts silently inside my head. And here's what I'll tell you. Some things you're going to be like, it could go either way. And if that's the case, mark both of them. But for the most part, try to choose an A or a B. Speaking style. It's fast-paced and expressive tones, large hand motions, or B, moderate pace, kind of a quiet voice, minimal hand motions. Number 4, relationship with silence. A, I'm uncomfortable with long silences, especially when you're around others. And then B, appreciate silence, even around others. Number 5, where do you get your energy? Most often find being in groups of people exciting and energizing is number A. And B is most often find being in groups of people too much and a little bit tiring. So that's my environment. Anybody need, holler if you need more time on those. All right. Oh, I didn't paste these out. Sorry. So they're all here. How I operate. Packing for a trip. A, pack in advance for a trip at least the night before. B, pack at the very last minute for a trip. Number 2 on this one, how I operate. Final decisions versus leaving options open. A, I prefer to have a decision made. B, I prefer to keep options open as long as possible. Number 3, relationship with schedules. A, really like having a schedule. B, don't really like having a schedule. All right, number 4, natural tendency. A, really like things to be constant and enjoy being prepared. B, really like a variety and enjoy going with the flow. 5, work style. Work before play, or B, play along the way. I can't remember what I said. I think I go either way sometimes. All right. How I gather information. So in this case, number 1, your strengths. A, I'm good at building, maintaining, and operating things. B, good at taking ideas and forming a creative solution. Number 2, ways of seeing things. A, trust only what I can see, hear, touch, taste, or smell. B, comfortable using my imagination and exploring the unknown. 3, question number 3, integration. A, put pieces together one step at a time, or B, put pieces together from all directions at once. Number 4, interpretation. A, the way things appear is the way they really are. B, Read between the lines to discover hidden meaning. Number 5, outlook. A, prefer to focus on enjoying today and make the most of it. B, contemplating dreams and future possibilities. So again, if you have any of these that you're like, I could go either way, go ahead and mark them both. Next section is decision making. So this is all about how you make your decisions. Number 1, decisions. A, use my thinking and logic to make decisions and seek clarity. B, use my heart and feelings to make decisions and seek harmony. Number 2, needs. A, sincere need to evaluate and improve. B, sincere need to know that others care how you feel. Number 3, perspective. A, tend to debate and defend point of view. B, tend to sympathize and accept other people's opinions. Number 4, movie watching. A, mistakes in a movie significantly lessen enjoyment. B, able to look past mistakes and enjoy a movie. 5, preferred approach. A, allow facts and proven details to help me make a decision. B, allow feelings and opinions to help me make a decision. So this is where the answer key comes in. Hopefully it's not too terribly confusing, but basically you're going to want to add up your A's. So for that first group of questions, my environment, you're going to want to add up your A's and add up your B's. Let's see how. Let me know in the chat if any of this is confusing, because we can either slow down or back up and answer some questions. Okay, sure thing. I'm going to go, there's been a request to go back to the first box, number 2 and 3. Is that where we were? So how your thoughts form and your speaking style. Okay, I didn't have the chat up while I was reading because I was reading. But anybody need me to flash through these one more time from the beginning here? Okay, so I'm just going to go from my environment, which was the first group of questions, 1 through 5. And then we will go to how I operate. which is the second group of questions. So Catherine, you're counting up how many A's you answered and how many B's you answered for each group of questions. So for that first group of questions, my environment, you would have counted up how many A's out of those 5 questions did you have and how many B's did you have. And now I'm showing how I operate. And you would do the same thing. Count up how many A's you had and how many B's you had. So this was the third group, how I gather information. This one has a lot of words, so I'm going to leave it up for a minute here. Oh my. Oh no. Oh no. I think somebody's annotating on the screen. Okay. Hopefully that's not me. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Just trying to figure out how to undo. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm moving the screen too many times. Trying to figure out how to undo that line. Let's just leave it there. So decision making was the last group of questions. So let's see. Give me a thumbs up in the chat when you have been able to answer all the questions and you're feeling like you're in a good place to start adding up your A's and B's if you haven't already. Cool. Seeing the thumbs up come in. Great job. Awesome. Okay. Getting plenty of thumbs up here. Appreciate that. It just helps me know that you guys are, you're tracking and we're not leaving anybody out because it can get a little confusing doing it online like this. So, all right. So hopefully you started to add up your A's and B's. So let's go back here. So everybody should have ended up with a total. And let me just do a little example here. So you should have marked oh my gosh, I'm not grabbing the X's. Ugh. So let's say I marked 2 under extrovert and 3 under introvert. That means I would put a 2 in extrovert and a 3 in introvert. That's kind of how that would look if there were 3 of those marked. I'm not going to try it because clearly controlling PowerPoint online is not great. So does that make sense? So everybody should have an extrovert, introvert total, a planned and spontaneous total. So over here, planned and spontaneous total for how I operate. How I gather information, you should have a hands-on total and an imagination total. And then for decision-making, you should have a facts total and a feelings total. And then from there, let me share a different screen or share a different document. So now I'm looking at what you guys are looking at. So you should have these filled in. Sorry, I'm trying to get to my document. Be able to move my document to where we can all see it. All right. Everybody seeing that document? Pretty clear? Okay, so now from there, you would take your totals and start filling them in. I guess before we do that, let's go ahead and talk about what these mean. So extroverts, you can kind of circle which one you had the highest score in, whether or not it was extroversion or introversion, hands-on or imagination, facts or feelings, planned or spontaneous. You can circle which one you had a preference in, or which one you had the highest score in. So extroverts tend to speak freely, whatever's on their mind, gain energy from chatting with others. Introverts need time to think and share their thoughts. Introverts gain energy from quiet time. When it comes to how you operate, planned people prefer to operate on a schedule or routine. They like to make final decisions and leave versus leaving things undecided. Spontaneous people find schedules too restricting, and they like to keep their options open and may change their mind often. So in a situation like this, I kind of have a split where I had a 3 to 4, 3 planned, 4 spontaneous. And I think that could go either way because I had a lot of questions in that section where I kind of said, I could go both. There's sometimes when I really, really need a schedule and I really need for things to be finalized. And then there's other situations, maybe like vacation, where I rather like know that things could change, or if we run into a situation where we want to stay out a little longer or explore a different sightseeing spot, then I'd rather know that things are flexible. So moving on here, how I gather information. People who prefer hands-on gathering use their 5 senses, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, to get a very clear and tangible result. People who prefer using their imagination may focus on all the possibilities, and they may pull information from lots of directions and see the big picture. They often like opportunities to be creative, like decision making. People who prefer who prefer objective decision making, so fact-based decision making, want to really evaluate the situation and improve it. They base their decisions on logic and impersonal facts. People who prefer subjective or feeling-based decision-making seek harmony and focus on how others feel or will be impacted. So you can kind of see the differences there. So with that said, let's place, you're gonna need to do one more situation here where you're kind of placing totals. And what we're trying to determine is whether or not we are movers, planners, connectors, or thinkers, and what combination of those we are. So for your hands-on, so when you go back up here to your totals, hands-on, how I gather information, the number you put here as your total should now come down to this spot here. Does that make sense to everybody? So do the same for all of these. So you're going to need that same hands-on number to go over here. Most of the numbers need to go in, now I was going to say most of them need to go into 2 spots, but that's not true. Okay. So once you've got this filled in, let's go into the chat and give some thumbs up so that we know we can move to the next section. Okay, we'll just give people a few more minutes here so that we can make sure we're all together. For those of you who didn't have the form, I'm hoping this is working out for you. Let me know. And if nothing else, like I said, just kind of listen in to the information, because it even without kind of adding up the numbers and putting all the numbers in the boxes and things like that, you're still able to listen and know whether or not you're a person who loves a schedule or somebody who likes to play it by ear. Okay. I'm only seeing a few thumbs up in the chat, so let me know again if you are caught up and you've got this section kind of filled in. All right. Cool, cool, cool. We'll give it another minute. Is anybody surprised by any of their numbers? Or does it feel like, I knew that. I knew that about myself. Okay. So at this point, if you're not ready, I need you to kind of give it, Miss Melissa, hold up in the chat, because I'm only seeing like maybe 5 or 6 thumbs up. So I can only guess that either we are still working on it, or we're just not giving the thumbs up. You can always go back and do more, that's for sure. So next up here is, now that you've got your mover score, your planner score, your connector score, and your thinker score, go ahead and line them up here to where your top style is, your second style, your third style, and your last style. And then also mark whether or not you fell into an introvert space or an extrovert space. Okay. So we're going to talk about those. We're going to explain those. While you keep doing what you're doing, I'm going to read through what these personality styles kind of mean. And it's just more of what you saw before. But if you're hands-on and you're spontaneous, you're considered a mover, and your core value is freedom. Mover personality style is courageous, exploratory, playful. Movers seek action and adventure. Movers are good at thinking on their feet. And connectors, if you utilize your imagination and feelings a lot, your core value is about relationships. And the connector personality is considerate, cooperative, encouraging. Connectors see harmony and personal connection. I bet that meant seek. Connectors naturally interact with others. They prefer to make decisions that feel good. Thinkers, if you're about imagination and facts, your core value is competency. So you want things to be done correctly and efficiently. A thinker personality style is curious, logical, and self-sufficient. Thinkers seek clarity and knowledge. Thinkers explore all the parts of a problem and can't help but suggest new ways of doing things. So if you're the person in the group who's always trying to find another way to make something work or another way to go about a task, you're probably a thinker. Planners, if you're hands-on and planned, you are a planner, and your core value is responsibility. So the planner personality style is organized, prepared, dependable. Planners seek order and fairness. Planners are naturally able to distinguish right from wrong, and they seek completion and enjoy crossing things off the list. So movers, connectors, thinkers, planners, we're going to see where we fall as a group. So we're going to test this out here and try to do a whiteboard where we fill in all of our characteristics. So, okay, so everybody should be seeing this whiteboard. I'm going to try to put us all up here. So you should be able to, and if you're unable, then just put your information in the chat. But you should be able to go to annotate up here in the drop-down menu bar at the top of your screen. There should be a option to annotate. Yes, Xander, fantastic. If you could actually choose, hi Xander, if you can choose text and type your name underneath the column that represents your top two. Oops, sorry, hold on. I'm messing up the column. My bad. I was trying to add more space, but that might not be an option. Okay, I'll leave it alone. So yeah, type your name underneath use text up here, use the T text and type your name underneath the top 2 personality styles. If that makes any sense to anybody. Uh-oh, my bad. Sorry. Let me stop touching stuff. Thought I was trying to get, oh my God. Stop touching things. Here we go. All right, Christopher, thinker. What's your second one? Awesome. Xander, you're doing what I was thinking about having people do, mark their top, to mark their, so Leandra, you have to use the, you have to use the text. You have to use the text tool. The draw tool is a little too wily. So if you do undo, Leandra, you should be able
Modern
to.
art. Hey, Melissa, if somebody types it in the chat, would you be able to
Add them? Yes, yes.
So Colin or Madison, Garrett, some of you that if you type your answers in the chat, we can try to put it on this, or Melissa.
Oh yeah, we will put it on there. Yeah.
Melissa will put it on the screen for it. Catherine, I see you. You did it. Or Catherine, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong.
Okay, I just have to get to my chat. I apologize. All right.
Karma said thinker.
Okay.
Mauricio said thinker. Aiden said thinker. A lot of thinkers.
Okay. So are you guys seeing the annotate button? So there should be a, I wish there was a way for me to actually show my screen. I see like my complete Zoom screen. So there should be, as you kind of hover at the top of Zoom, a drop-down menu should come down and annotate.
Yeah, it says view options on mine, and you can choose annotate. Okay. And then choose text is what you're saying. I can maybe type some in too.
Yes. So for anybody again, for that it's not like clear for you, just tell us in text where you are. I see Aiden under thinker. I see Garrett under planner. Oops, sorry, I put mine on top of somebody's. There we go. A lot of thinkers in our group. Gonna get some stuff done. Colin, I see you.
I think I accidentally, Angela is actually Yeah, I got that right. Planner, number one planner, two thinker. Okay. Wow. Another one. Wow, look at all the thinkers
Yeah.
and planners.
Nice, 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 nice. Okay. Planner, thinker, Angela, got you. Okay, I think we may have captured everybody in the chat. If you don't see your name up on the screen, and you did figure out which one you are, give us a holler. I'm an imaginary pro artist. I love that, Xander. I'm right there with you. Very. My imagination kind of goes wild sometimes, which is sometimes a good thing, sometimes a bad thing. Sometimes my planner people are like, bring it in, bring it in. Okay, so I'm going to save this so that we can see it again. Remember where you fell. So here's, I'm going to close this. Yeah, let's see if I can, now that I've saved it, can I close that? So got our team. Probably should have tried to pull this in. How about I try that? Give me 2 seconds here. I'm going to try to pull what we just created into a little slide here. So I'm going to stop sharing for 2 seconds. Only if I knew where my whiteboard went. That would have been awesome. Okay, so now we have the opportunity to kind of use our last 10 minutes here to just kind of think about a hypothetical situation. So, like I said, we mentioned that you could utilize these skills in whatever ways could make a team stronger and whatever ways could help bring a project to completion. So when you think about, let's see in the chat our vote for which project we're going to work on in these last 10 minutes here. And you can say the country in the chat that you are voting for. So you've got digging water wells in Nigeria. You've got building a school and library in Guatemala. You've got creating a community garden in Jamaica, or you've got teaching computer skills to young women in Brazil. So give me the country you want to do your project in. Got one for Guatemala thus far. All right, starting to populate here. And these are all really fun. We're just doing a little hypothetical situation. Putting the knowledge out there. All right, so it looks like our votes are really kind of split between Guatemala and Nigeria. So let's try to build a school and potentially dig some wells. We're gonna have a 4-week trip. We'll spend 2 weeks in each location. How about that? That'd be amazing. So with that said, Colin, Jamaica, right there, close to my heart. And is your last name Allie Kingston? So yeah, I can see why Jamaica might feel a little close. Okay, so like these are things when you think about being a mover or a connector or a thinker or a planner, we're going to have to figure out as a team. And what we learned is that we have a lot of thinkers and a lot of planners on our team. So we do have to, you know, kind of recognize who on our team is going to be able to help us. So let's just kind of think through a few of these questions. Like, how do we get there? Who do you think is going to, thanks, Xander, for the total count. So yes, we're going to start with Guatemala. And Guatemala was building a library and a school. So who's going to help us get there? Who's, when you think about our movers, our connectors, our thinkers, our planners, who's gonna help us get to Guatemala? You can just put it in the chat. Oh, so just to clarify, my question is, so if we were, if we were going to have these as a list of questions, who in our group, our planners, our thinkers, our movers, or our connectors would be the key people who would help us figure out how to answer the question? So how we get there, I'll throw this one out there. It's our planners, because they are planners and our thinkers. Yes, yes, you guys are right on there now. So how do we find the best hotel that is close to the project? It's safe. We're going to have our cultural awareness and infusion. Yep. We're seeing planners, planners, planners. We need them up front, right? We can't even get to Guatemala without our planners. Awesome. What about, what does the community need? What does the community we're serving need from us? Who are going to be the key people who are going to help us figure out that question? Yes, somebody said connectors. Paula, thank you. Xander, yes, connectors. They are definitely, and there weren't that many of us. So I believe it was Melissa, me, and if I could get to the document, I apologize. I saved it and now I can't even get to it. Who was our other connector? Say something in the chat if you were the other connector. Yes, Alexia. Is it Alexia? Tell me how to say your name. Unmute and tell me how to say your name. Okay. Oh, yes. Thank you. You're right. Thanks. All right. So you and I are going to have to go talk to the community people. We may take a few of our friends with us, maybe the planners. We may take a couple of planners with us. We might take some thinkers with us, because thinkers have that point of, what do they say? They like to be curious. They like to be logical. They like to get clarity. So they might help us ask some of the good questions. Where you and I as connectors may be all about, so what's your family like? And what kind of books do you like? What kind of books do you think will be best for the kids? We may get off track because we get caught up in our feelings and not ask some of the logical things like, how much land do we have to work with to put the school on? Or how much space do we have? Do you want it to be really big, or is that too big to maintain? So, you know, we may get off track. The next thing, what's the best way to go about doing this project? What do you think? Oh, somebody's asking, how much money do we need to spend on it? That's a great question. And I do think some of our thinkers and planners would help us tremendously, probably mostly the thinkers, because I think they are going to help us understand the logistics behind what we can creatively do and how much money we will need to make that happen. All right. And then Angela, you said planner would probably help us figure out the best way of going about the project. Because what we said, we're going to spend 2 weeks. That means we don't have forever to do the project. Let's see, who is going to help us work out a timeline and keep us on schedule? Probably those planners. Yes. Yep, definitely. And next thing, who's going to help us kind of talk through the idea of, observing traditions? So we can't build a library just based on the way we would do it here in the United States. We may need to kind of think about what kind of traditions they have that may impact how their buildings are structured. Let's see, what happens if something doesn't go as planned? Who's going to help us be spontaneous on our feet and think fast about how to redirect ourselves? Yes, we don't want to build on their sacred ground. Yes. Colin, you said connectors or thinkers might help us if something doesn't go as planned. The movers are also going to step in. Yes, Xander, that's exactly what I was going to say. You beat me to it. Movers are going to be, this is where we need to think on our feet. Something is not going right. Supplies didn't show up. Days, we got rained out 2 of the days that we were supposed to be building. Do we need to speak their language? Hello, Alexia, you and I might need to learn some key Spanish. Yep, we do need to be able to talk. So either we're going to have to plan for a translator to join our team, or we're going to have to have enough Spanish speakers. Yes. Let's see. Did we need to have a fundraiser before coming? Who's going to help us plan a fundraiser? Who's going to help us pull together a online party or a big party? Those planners and thinkers. Yes. So this is good that we're full of planners and thinkers, because you can see how key it makes the communication, and it makes the project go. Last 2 things here. So who determines the best communication to reach the hearts and pockets of those funders, those potential contributors? Who's gonna help us with that? Yes. Without a doubt, no question. Your connectors are gonna help you figure out, how do we talk to them and help convince them that this is a great project to invest in? And then lastly here, who captures our story while we're in the country, so that we can take the messages back to the US, what we did, how we did it. Connectors. Yes, I think that is great. You guys did a great job. You definitely know yourselves, know who can play a key role in making things happen. Was anybody surprised by the fact that they were a connector or planner or mover? Anybody surprised by what you were? I fell into connector and thinker. So yeah, I was not surprised. I'm definitely a high connecting individual. And then I definitely pull on those thinking skills, because I believe, is it the thinker who, but I feel like I might have a titch of planner, because I'm highly responsible. Like, I don't want things to fall through the crack in my watch. The second one surprised you, Paula. Yeah, what was your second one? I'm sorry, because I don't have the paper up, but what was your second one, Paula? A mover. Yeah, right. So wanting things to happen, as far as being curious, exploring. You don't want us to just go there and not be able to interact with the people and have a good time with the community. And you want us to also, I think, learn something about the culture and about the things other than just going and being task oriented and making it happen. So that's great. And then there are a lot of people who just weren't surprised. They know, they understand themselves. They understood kind of where they were. So this is great information for you to take with you. Like, so we took it abroad and applied it to a international project, but you can apply this to anything you're doing, honestly. So any way in which you're interacting with your family, if a family gathering is coming together or family decisions are being made, you kind of now know, if you probably inherently knew before, but now you know for sure, I can probably be the one to help add a little fun and spontaneity to this family gathering that we've been doing the same way for the last 5 years. Or I can maybe help us reach out to some more family because I have that connector ability. Or again, even with how you are planning for school and how you're planning for your next move, you're going to be able to see whether or not a university or a college is going to be a good fit for you. If they are, if they don't have programs that challenge you to kind of use your curiosity, or they don't have programs that feel like they align with your process of connecting with people, and it's just all about the facts and all about the grades in the school, then you definitely are going to be able to pick the types of places that work for you. We are at our time, so I want to make sure I let you guys get your Friday started. But any questions before we wrap up? I love that you guys were so participatory. Thank you for that. And again,